What Project Impact means to me, and I don't know that I can do that in 2 minutes, because what it really means to me is God and you. I mean, that's what it's about. The fact that there is such a tremendous need. There's such a tremendous need in our communities. And it seems as though if the government can't fix it, it seems like the church can't fix it, the family can't fix it, the community, it just seems as though if the problems that we have within our communities, and when I say our communities, I focus primarily on inner city, low income, no income, poverty situations, people who have been incarcerated, and the fact that the problem is not getting better, it's getting worse. And it's if we cannot begin to come up with solutions to fix the problems in the inner city and the problems in areas of urban blight and areas where there is such entrenched and generational issues and problems, if we can't do it or begin the process in an effective way, if we can't do it now with Obama in the White House, we ain't going to do it. I mean, Jesus said when he was 12 years old, "Know ye not that it is about time that I was about my Father's business?" At 12 years old, he said that. What are we waiting for? Now we have to have a plan, and we have to have a way to do it. Well, we've got some plans, and I'm sure that God has given us. I'm talking about Project Impact. When Richard said that Project Impact is going to be a monster, well, he's right. If God is willing, we're going to be a monster. If the Lord is willing, because He's already planted. God has already planted seed that's beginning to grow. When we take the Spirit and the power of God and the love that God puts in people, if we can take those things and begin to really understand, so that every system, whether it's government, whether it's social, political, economic, spiritual, philosophical, it doesn't matter. If we take every one of those systems and begin to put them together with love, then we'll be able to see much more clearly, using the power of God and the power of knowledge and information and caring for one another. And we can start building some things that really will transform people's lives so that we have a foundation. I mean, building on whipped cream doesn't work. We got to build on something that's solid. And you're not going to get anything more solid than God. I get so sick of the political, being on boards and all this sort of stuff where people begin to say, well, this is how we're going to fix it, this is how we're going to fix it. And you're not going to fix it the way that they're saying that we're going to fix it, because we've been doing those things and it has not fixed it. So we got to get real, and we got to stop apologizing for God. And it takes courage. It takes boldness. It takes things to change. Otherwise, they're going to keep locking the brothers up. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's new slavery. That mentality has to change. But that means that the brothers have to sit down long enough to start listening. You got to be able to listen long enough for us to begin to change things. And if you can't love the people that's closest to you, if you can't love your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your son, your daughter, your husband, your wife, if you can't love them, you ain't loving nobody else. Not right anyway. And God said, if you can't love your brother whom you can't see, how you going to love me whom you cannot see? I mean, we've got to take the real foundational things, because that's where the power is. The real power comes from God first. There is no power without God. There's no life without God. And in reality, there's no love without God. I mean, now, Project Impact is the way to begin to build some things that we can't do with the church. When I say that, it's because it isn't religion. It is really reliving. It's us starting to really build relationships right. The church has to stop acting as though if people earning a living and economics, that it's some kind of curse. We got to stop being so heavenly minded that we know earthly good. The church has got to change that stuff. It's got to begin to look at these things right. You know, we can't stay inside them church walls and all that kind of stuff and think that we're going to transform people's life. Jesus didn't go to the church. He went to the people. See, that's where he was at, and that's where he worked. That's what he did. And if the church could ever get it right, it's got the right thing, but it's got to get it right. And then start getting out there and doing the things, not sitting behind some kind of spiritual curtain and being afraid to touch people, being afraid to heal the things that are broken, being afraid to really address it the way God intended for us to address it in the first place. It's got to get real so that we begin to come up with plans. And we got some plans. We got some bad plans. I mean, we got some monster stuff. Ray said he's excited. He ain't half as excited as I am. But, I mean, some things that we can do. But we got to hang long enough and not give up. Amen. That's right. There are people who need houses, people that need homes, people that they need supplies, they need money, they need clothes, they need food. And it's ridiculous that we have a nation, the most, wealthiest nation in the world. And the poverty that we got, almost like third world countries in some of our cities. That's right. It's utterly, totally ridiculous. But I mean, we got to be able to get to that. We got to be able to get beyond that. And so, if people are not going to do it for us, and they're not only that, even when we give us something, even when you get welfare, they gotta treat you like you some kind of animal. And then when you, even unemployment, you pay unemployment taxes all your life. And then you have some dumb corporation that want to stop you from drawing your unemployment. That kind of stuff has to stop. And Project Impact, what it means to me is that when we can unite we can put a stop to that stuff. When you talk about power, we ain't got no money. There's power, there's money and power, there's money and knowledge. We ain't got the education that Professor Economics over here. We call it Blakeonomics because he's been teaching us about Reaganomics and Obamanomics. But we're taking Reaganomics and Obamanomics and we're going to put them together in Blakeonomics and we're going to create some economics. But that's what we're really going to do. And there's ways to do it. I mean, there are ways to do it, and we figured some of them out. And so we're going to do some of those things. But it is putting the plans together and hanging in there long enough, using some sense, solving conflict in ways that don't create more conflict, so that it creates ways of solutions. And sometimes it's talking, it's loving, it's caring, it's being patient. I mean, the fruits of the Spirit, you take those things